Hey yo, GOAT format players, it's Skill Brown Magician here, and I have my Doriado Abyss profile. I know I promised this a while ago, so here it is. So the spice is really just using elemental Mistress Doriado. It's a level 3 light ritual monster with just one of the craziest, weirdest effects, and it's just a dope looking light ritual card. And Abyss Soldier, which you're like, how do those cards work together if Elemental Mistress Doriado is a light? Well, you'll see. And then the card that goes with Elemental Mistress, which is Furin Kazan. And those three effects are, first off, Elemental Mistress, you have to ritual summon it with the ritual spell card, Doriado's Blessing. It's pretty standard. You just tribute off monsters that are level 3, from your hand or your field, and then you can special summon her out. And her effect is that the attribute of this card is also treated as wind, water, fire, and earth while it's face up on the field. So one of the cool things is that it acts as all four different types, and not only does it act as those four types while it's on the field, but also while it's in the hand and graveyard. It doesn't include that in the actual effect rulings, on the screen here, but if you look at the GOAT format rulings, you can actually find out that, yeah, Elemental Mistress, for whatever reason, she counts as a wind, water, fire, and earth also while she's in the hand and graveyard. So you can pitch her for cards like Abyss Soldier. So you have now access to searchable discard fodder for Abyss Soldier's effect, which is just discard a water monster from your hand to the graveyard to target one card on the field and return it to the hand. So that's a combo with those two. And the trap card is super crazy. You need to have face up wind, water, fire, and earth monsters on the field, and you apply one of these effects. Elemental Mistress counts as all three. So you get to do one of these things. Destroy all monsters your opponent controls, kind of like a Raigeki. Destroy all spell and trap cards your opponent controls. Harpy's Feather Duster. Discard 2 random cards from your opponent's hand. So it's even better than Delinquent Duo because it's 2 random cards. Or draw 2 cards. So this card lets you replenish some of your resources or take out your opponent's. So those are like the 3 main cards. And here's the actual list. So here it is all together. And yeah, here's what I came up with. It's kind of a crazy brew, and you'll notice the inclusion of these, even monarchs in here. And the idea is that you have things like Soul Exchange, and you have things like Book of Moon, Back to Square One, Furin Kazan, Ring of Destruction, Swords of Revealing Light. Crazy brew. So here's what it is. Manju, you have 3 light monsters that search Elemental Mistress Doriado. This is great because now it stacks your hand with either light fodder for the graveyard or it counts as water fodder for Abyss Soldier while it's in your hand. Also, it's great for Tribe Infecting Virus as well. Then you can also get your 1 copy of Doriado's Blessing. You're not really trying to bring out Doriado all of the time, right? This is not, it's only 1200 attack and you're not really running anything else with it other than Furin Kazan, which is like the spice. And yeah, so ideally you're not trying to just bring out a bunch of Elemental Mistress Doriados, although I have gone for game with her before. Okay, then you have, like I was mentioning, the spice is that you have perfect fodder for your Abyss Soldier and Tribe Infecting Virus. So this, searches your EMD, and then you have fodder for Abyss Soldier and Tribe Infecting Virus. Also, we have our dark sets here. We have Cyberjar, because we're running a lot of level 4 monsters. We have Dekoichi, just for draw power. We have Breaker, Sangan, and really, I'm only running 1 of each. You could run just double Dekoichi, but I figured if it gets banished, you're only going to have 3 targets for BLS, and I didn't like that. So I wanted to play 1 of each, and Cyberjar just helps you get through the deck faster too. So I like these as all being sets. Manju can also be set, all so that you can block for your 2 copies of Magician of Faith. And the spice is, instead of a Nobleman of Crossout, I'm actually running back to square one because this works well with Elemental Mistress Doriado. Lets you get a light into graveyard, and it just gives Manju more purpose. It gives you even searchable fodder for back to square one. You could replace this with um, Double Knock for sure, and that even works well with Book of Moon, but that's up to you. In my take on the build, I wanted to have more outlets for discard since I'm running triple EMD and I'm running 3 monsters that search EMD. Also, because I have Sangan in here and I have a Sinister Serpent, hopefully I have Sinister online as well. And then this really just, yeah, I like having back to square one as a spice too. The 1 copy of Soul Exchange is just to go with either your 3 monarchs up here. Mobius is nice because it's a water, so it also works with Abyss. But yeah, this is just to clear out their back row. And then Jinzo is just nice because not only is he great with um, you know taking out all of their traps, but he's really good with things like Premature Burial and Call of the Haunted. And Premature Burial plus Abyss Soldier, you can get some really crazy loops because Abyss Soldier can send Premature back to hand, and that allows you to use Premature Burial again while also retaining that monster that you summoned with Premature on the field. Because Premature's effect, it only destroys the monster, if this card is sent to the graveyard, but if it's bounced back to the hand, it allows you to get around that and your monster can stay alive. We have 2 copies of Decree here because we really are trying to just, block their back row. And we have our 2 copies of Furin Kazan, and then Ring is just nice to have, and Call is nice to have in a deck where we have so many nice monsters to bring back from the grave. Swords is nice because sometimes, you need to stall or you want to make sure you can flip Magician of Faith on your turn. And maybe you want to protect your Cyber Jar. This card pairs well with Abyss Soldier as well because you can bounce it back, and we just have a lot of fodder. So, yeah, this is the build. I'm pretty happy with it. And yeah, let me get into some of the stratagems behind what you can do with it. Yeah, like I said, EMD, she counts as a wind, water, fire, and earth, and light, because she's just already light, while she's in your hand and graveyard and on the field, if you do manage to ritual summon her. She is searchable, Abyss, Tribe, Graceful Charity, Back to Square One fodder. All of those cards can just send and pitch EMD to the graveyard, so it's nice for that. Also, it can still be used while it's in the graveyard to summon out your BLS as well. Yeah, like I was mentioning in the beginning, Furin Kazan just acts as Harpy's Feather Duster because it can clear their whole back row. It could be Raigeki, clear their face up, face down monsters. Pot of Greed, draw 2. Delinquent Duo, except it's 2 random cards, so it's just crazy. I was actually able to get out both in 1 turn. I'll have to dig out the replay for you guys. And then Decree and Jinzo plus a Mobius, Abyss, Tribe, you're just really happy because you have Decree to take out all of their back row, and then Mobius pops their back row, Abyss, you can target whatever it is, whether it's their back row or it's their monsters. Tribe clears all their face-up monsters. If you have this combo, it's really nice. That's why I ran Decree. It's because I know that my monster effects are so strong here. Yeah, Abyss Soldier loops Premature and Swords, so that's really spicy. And with this deck, you have so much fodder for Abyss Soldier to loop these cards, so it's really nice. And then yeah, Soul Exchange plus Mobius, it's just like 3 less opponent cards. It feels great when you pull it off, and you don't even mind that you didn't swing in because you took out a monster, and then you took out, hopefully 2 of their back row with Mobius. So this is the build. I hope you guys like the spice and seeing Elemental Mistress Doriado being used in a cool way. And yeah, even pairing up with like Soul Exchange, Jinzo, still able to run BLS in this, and then just pairing it with Abyss Soldier as a cherry on top. And then if you can get Fruin Kazan to go off, feels great as well. So that is the build. And yeah, thank you guys for sticking around. I'll see you in the Shadow Realm. Maybe I'll catch you on Dueling Book and you'll catch me testing whatever brew I'm working on. And for the up and coming, I'm going to be rebooting the sub recommended series, and it's going to return. And the first deck profile that I'm going to be featuring for one of the OG subs, it's Necromancy for Kids, and I have a spicy plant deck as the next profile on the channel. So stick around for that. If you guys stay till the end, leave a like, leave a comment. Let me know that you stayed all the way here, and yeah, I'll show you some love, and maybe you might be the next sub recommended series profile. All right, take care, guys. Peace. Later.